I've been working with hoopers over the last 7 years. I've been coaching them. I've been doing skill development with them. I've been doing performance training, strength training, jump training, all of that cool stuff, and physical therapy with them to achieve their goals time and time again. Currently, we work with some of the best high school hoopers in Jersey, Division 1, 2, and 3 hoopers, and thousands of hoopers online because of the reputation that we have. And I've really boiled down success from training to one thing, which is actually working on the things that you need to work on. And it's a problem that so many hoopers struggle with. If you're one of those hoopers that is just stuck without getting any results from your training, then you really should listen to this perspective. It'll probably change the way you train forever. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to apply it to your training. So I'm excited for you. Here's the thing. You look at most players' training, and the biggest problem is that there's an elephant in the room. When I see a player play, there's an elephant in the room with what should they be training? What are the things that are holding them back? What is the linchpin that's holding them back from getting from somebody that's a JV player to one of the best high school players in their area? There's certain limiting factors, and you go to the things that these players are working on, and it's not the thing that is going to help them become a better basketball player. And the problem is that players avoid the uncomfortable. Players avoid things that aren't going to move the needle. So I'll give you a few examples of this, a few stories of this. So there are players that will get up 500 shots every single day, continue to shoot poorly in games, and then wonder why they're not getting anything different from their training. They're not getting a different result from their training. And the problem is they're not willing to dive deep into the actual problems that they're having in games. And the actual problems that they're having in games is they're not getting up 500 reps. They've done that. You continue to do it, and you're getting the same result. That's insanity. So what do you have to do in your training instead? You have to mimic situations that are the problems in your game. So if you have a problem shooting with a defender contesting at you, you should be doing that a lot in your training. Like, do it to a point where it would be really weird by the time you enter the game that you weren't really good at shooting with a contested hand. Some players are afraid to shoot in games because they're afraid of their coach doing XYZ. Then guess what you should be doing in your training? You should be in environments where you don't feel extremely comfortable. Environments where it's not just by yourself in the gym for 2 hours. You have to really look at what are the things that are your problems in games, and you should be attacking those. And instead, you are doing things that are just comfortable, and you're wondering why you're not getting results. You only get results if you deserve to get results. I'll give you another example of this. I'm watching Kyrie Irving, and I'm watching Anthony Edwards guard him during the Western Conference Finals, and you watch the way Anthony Edwards guards Kyrie. He has to play off of him. You can't guard him all the way close. And why is this? It's because you know all the options that he has, right? If you believed that somebody only had one option, you would easily guard them. Say that Kyrie wasn't allowed to dribble at all. How would Anthony Edwards guard him? He would guard him all the way up. And the reason is he can only shoot. Say he was not allowed to dribble, he would guard him very differently. And it's not about what he does, it's about the threats that he has. That's why Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. And it's not that he has to show it all the time, but everybody knows. Players know. They're scouts. Everybody knows who Kyrie Irving is. Just the mere fact that he is a threat to doing things that a lot of people can't do in the variety of ways that he can do them makes him extremely difficult to guard. You watch him play, and when he has to turn it on and he has to show off why he is Kyrie Irving, he shows it. He's able to get into positions that people can't get into. He's able to move at a speed that people can't get into. The ball never slows him down. All of these things that are extremely important ingredients for being an effective driver, an effective playmaker, somebody that can put a lot of points on the board, he has them. For most players, you don't have them, and you continue not to work on them. You're doing drills, stationary ball handling drills, that don't change the way you handle the ball in actual games. You do drills that you know of these drills. You're thinking, oh, I know I can do this in my training. I can do that in my training. It's not pushing you anymore. It's not changing the way you play. And if you're not doing drills that are meant to change the way you play, then why are you doing them? Instead, you're doing a routine. A lot of people do routines. Routines don't get you anywhere by themselves. If your routine is to push yourself to the edge of your ability, and your routine was to be the biggest critic of your own game, then you'd be really good at basketball. I'll give you another story. Player coming in the gym. He's a 7th grader. He's going to be in 8th grade. And the first thing I notice about him is that he's his biggest critic. Every shot he misses, he gets upset. Every time he loses the ball, he gets upset. And it's not that you have to get frustrated or upset, but he was the most frustrated person that I've seen come into the gym. And it's the first thing I noticed. It was very apparent. He wasn't putting on a show. He meant it. He was frustrated. Why was he frustrated? Because he was not doing the things that he know he's capable of doing. And because of that frustration, he pushed himself every single day to level up. Now he's one of the best players for his age in the country. He is one of the best players for his age in the country. Granted, he is going to be in ninth grade next year and he's 6'4". This is not a game of genetics as most people like to think it is. Most people like to say, oh, they're born with that. Oh, they're that fast because they've always been that fast. You know, you can get these abilities too. And there's so many people that I see comment all the time, and the stigma around training is that why are you trying to be somebody else? Just try to be yourself. Just be yourself when you play. You don't have to try to train to be like Kyrie or train to be like Anthony Edwards. Just be yourself. But you suck. You suck. So why would you try to be yourself? Right? You should try to be something more than what you currently are. And most people don't look at it like that. You should try to move in a way where you look unrecognizable the next year. And you do that again and again and again. Instead, you want to say that you're training and you're staying in a comfortability, but you're not doing the things that you actually need to do to get better. You watch yourself on film and you say, I couldn't do this. And then the second you say, I couldn't do this because, and you list out all those reasons, if your training doesn't address the because, you're not doing the right thing in your training. Really think right now, what are you doing when you go outside or when you go in the gym and you're working on your game? What does that mean to you? And I'm not going into crazy details right now because I just want you to have the perspective. I want you to hear this perspective of you don't need to do what everybody's done before you. You don't have to follow the same path that everybody's followed. You can follow a different path. If you were genuine with the problems that you have and you saw them and you said, you know what, I'm going to actually work on these things because this is the player I need to become, then go ahead. I'll give you another example of this. A player that he's pretty athletic. He's going to be a junior next year. His biggest problem is that he doesn't have freedom with the ball. You watch some of the best players play. There is a dissociation between how their body moves and where their arms can move in space. You see it all the time with the way players shoot, with the way players dribble the ball. Everything he does is so close. He doesn't want to break past those boundaries because, hey, he might lose the ball. He might turn it over. He might not XYZ, right? You watch the best players play, and this is why people should be watching the best players in the world because they are good examples for what you should be doing. You want to be in their shoes. So you should probably try to do the things that they could do. And you watch Kyrie play, everything's not so close all the time. Every player, their joints are loose. Everything is loose because they have full control over the ball. So what I was doing with him, I was trying to help him explore these possibilities. I was doing different drills where he has to bounce the ball above his head during a drill. He has to sprint, go full speed, low throughs, full speed. If you believe that you shouldn't be something more than you are currently, which is what a lot of people believe, then you have no chance. If I want to build a bigger business, why would I look at my current thing? Why wouldn't I be looking at businesses that are similar to mine and saying, what are they doing? Like, why wouldn't you do that? At the very least, why wouldn't I look at the limiters of what I'm trying to build and attack those limiters? Why wouldn't I do that? You should do that. You should look at, honestly, what are the things, what are the problems that you're having in games and obsess over them. Don't just say, oh, I'm working on them. Obsess over them. What are the things that are holding me back from my goal and obsess over them? That's all I got for you. Take this, run with it. If you're hearing this, understand that you have to train the things that maybe are a little bit uncomfortable. And guess what? When you start working on something new, you're going to suck at it. At first, you are going to suck. You're going to fumble the ball. You're going to look silly. You're going to look stupid until you don't. And then you do that again and again and again. And then all of a sudden, your game's transformed. Your goal should be to become unrecognizable in a year from now. If that's not your goal, you're going to be very frustrated with everything about basketball because it's competitive. Everybody wants it. Good drill system, link in the description. This is what we focus on, becoming unrecognizable.